So we finished the trigonometry, okay? Finally, trigonometry has two parts, okay? You guys did very good job. Let's stay through it. And then, so now we are beginning the last topic in book one, okay? I put all the major topic in book one, right? And then, so when we get to book two, those are the smaller, the easier topic, okay? So we can go through them faster, okay, than compared to book one. Right, so don't worry, we'll be able to finish them in time. And then in book two, there's a topic. I put a few extra topic in book two. Some teacher, they choose not to teach it, but still put it there. So it depends on the time. If time allowed, then we'll cover it. Otherwise, we can leave it, okay? So it's more of optional. So this topic is called exponent and logarithm. So exponent, we've seen it many times, right? So since grade 8. So we'll start by reviewing some of the old rules that you learned before, okay? So it should be pretty easy. And then we will be introducing some new rules later, okay? So we'll just go through quickly what's inside this topic. So we have the exponent law review, right? And then we will be using the exponent law to solve some simple equations. And then in grade 12, we have a lot of graphing. Like trigonometry, we can graph, right? Same with the exponent. We can also graph. Then we call that exponential function. Okay, function means you can have an input and output, and then you draw the points, right? So we can talk about a graph, and then for any kind of function graph, we can always apply our transformation, the RST, right? Reflection, stretching, right? And then translation, right? So what you learn in the first chapter, the transformation, is can be applied here, just like you apply it to trigonometry. And maybe later on, right, when you go to higher level, right, the transformation rule that you learn can still apply, okay, to any functions. And then there will be application of exponential function, okay? So mostly about calculating amount of money when you deposit into the bank, right? So interest rate. And then there's another application that's called exponential growth and decay. So if you've taken science, right, or biology, right, you must have heard of exponential growth, right, for bacteria. So something to do with that. So everything here up to up to here is not too not very new, right? A little connection with the past, right, or other subjects. Now the next part will be the new thing. So part C is called logarithm, logarithmic equation. So we'll be introducing what does log mean, right, and what's the use of it. And then with just like exponent law, we also have the logarithmic laws. Okay, so each of the exponent law, you have a corresponding log laws. And then we'll learn how to use the log laws to solve some equations. And then finally, we apply to word problems. And then just like exponential, right? We can graph log as well, right? Exponential graph and log graph, log functions. And that will be the end, all right? So let's begin with today. Hopefully we can go to application for exponential, right? Go through the easy part, okay, more quickly. So since this part is a review, then I will go over a little bit faster, right? So if you find it that there's any question, just stop me anytime, okay? So are you ready to start? Can you raise your hand if you're ready? Samantha? Yeah, okay. So let's start, all right? So if you have b times b times b, right? A lot of b multiplied together, you can write it as b to the n, right? So we just say b to the nth power. And b is called what? What's the name for b? Eric?
I don't remember.
Okay, anyone remember? You remember?
Base.
Base, very good. Okay, just like if you have 2 and then a little 3, the 2 is called the base, right? So that's why it starts with B. And the N, what about N? Tiana, do you remember? What's N?
Is it power?
Yeah, you can say N to the N power, or we just call it exponent.
Exponent?
Yeah. Okay. So usually we just say exponent. All right, so we have some of the rules that you learned before. Okay, the first rule is for having the same base. So number one, right, if the base are the same, A and A, right? And then the exponent, then you can add them up together. Okay, if it's dividing, right, when dividing the same base, the exponent, then you subtract, right? And then exponent next to each other, right? 2 to the third power and then to the second power. So power to power, you would multiply the exponents. Okay, so these ones shouldn't be a stranger to you, right? So I'd like you to simplify question A, okay? So when you get the answer, please raise your hand. Should be pretty easy. So the top will be 2 to the 15, bottom is 2 to the 8. So final answer should be what? Irae?
2 to the 7.
Yeah, 2 to the 7, okay? And then the next one, it doesn't have the same base. However, we could make them the same, right? So for example, like 9, I can write it as a 3 squared, right? And then raise it to the square, all right? And then 27, I can write it as 3 cubed. So some of the common numbers you should get yourself familiar with, right? So 9, then you think about 3, right? When you see 27, you think about 3 as well. Okay, so also simplify this and raise your hand again when you finish. Okay, so Kelly, what's the final answer?
3 to the 6.
Yeah, 3 to the 6. Okay, anyone doesn't have the same one or have any questions? Okay, so that's the rules for same base. Now we also have rule for same exponents. So take a look at inside the brackets, right? You have two bases, right? But then they both have the same exponent at the corner, right? Exponent of t. So when that happens, right, you could share the exponents, okay? You can write it underneath, same exponent, share exponent. So the t will go inside, but you can only share if the inside is multiply or divide. Okay, number 4 is multiply, number 5 is divide. So make a note. Okay, very important. It still happen even like in calculus class. Some students still do this mistake. A, for example, a plus b. I want to raise it to the 5. Okay, because inside is adding, you cannot say it's a to the 5 plus b to the 5, okay? You cannot do that. You can only share if it's multiply or divide, right? So subtract or add, right? You cannot do the sharing. Okay, so just make sure you remember that. So over here, I'll go over question A. So you look at the inside the bracket, right? Outside you have a 3, ready to share. So inside you have 2 bases, okay? 2 parts multiplying. So you can write it as 2, right? And then x squared, that's 2 parts. Each of them gets the cube, right? And then for the part that has everything numbers, then you can find the answer. Okay, 2 to the cube, that will give you 8. And then x squared, and then to the 3, then you could use the law number 3, right? Multiply exponent. So you leave your answer as x to the 6. So that will be your final answer. Okay, so whenever you have multiply and divide on the inside, you can share them. Okay, so please try question B. When you finish, okay, raise your hand and make sure if it's numbers, you can evaluate it. Okay, like 2 cubed, you can find the answer. Okay, Cindy, what's your final answer?
25x to the fourth power over 4y to the second power and z to the second power.
Yeah, okay. So why does the negative disappear, Tiana?
Because you're timesing it to the second power.
Mm-hmm.
It's like -5 times -5.
Yep, very good. Okay, so square will share with the -5, right? So -5 times -5 makes it positive. So if it's inside a bracket, it will disappear, right? If it's a square or even exponent. Okay, number 3 is when you have exponent of 0, it will equal to 1, but make sure the base cannot be 0, okay? So usually when they ask you to do that, they won't use a 0 as the base. Okay, so try these two. Okay, these two look very similar, but their answers are different. Okay, so please raise your hand when you finish. Okay, any questions? Kelly, Samantha, have you finished A and B? All right, so Ray, what's your answer for A?
-1.
All right, and Donna, what's your answer for B?
-2.
Okay, any question about these two? Anyone got different and wants to ask? Okay, just watch out for brackets, right? The two question, the difference is brackets. So the exponent affects the bracket, right? If there's no brackets, the exponent only affects the base. So you need to identify which one is the base for the exponent, okay? So bracket will have a bigger base. All right, next one, you learn the negative exponent probably in grade 9, right? So if you were studying with me, I use the airplane ticket to help you, right? To know how to do this one. But you can do it your way, right? So basically, if you see a negative on the exponent, it will make it go to the other side, right, of the fraction, okay? So like you can think of it as 3 to the -7, right? This is like over 1, okay? So you bring the whole thing to the bottom, but then you ignore the negative sign and make it 1, okay? In grade 9, we explain why this works, okay? But right now, you just need to know how to apply it. So I'll let you try, okay? So each one of them, I would like you to get the final answer without exponent, so evaluate, right? So 4 questions here. And when you finish all 4, please raise your hand. So your final answer should not have any exponent. Okay, so please evaluate your answer. Okay, Kelly, what's your answer for A?
1/8.
Yeah, okay, so first it becomes 1/2 cube and 1/8. Okay, Cindy, what about B?
24.
24, very good. Okay, so 3 stays, it doesn't have negative, and then the 2 goes up, right? And then 3 times 8 will give you 24. Okay, next one, Eric, what about C?
I got 8/9.
8/9, yeah, okay, so 2 goes up, 3 goes down, they both have negative exponents, right? And then you evaluate that, 8/9. Okay, last one, Tiana, what do you have?
27/8.
Okay, very good. So this one you could use the share exponent, right? Inside is dividing, you can share. Both of them gets a negative, so they get to swap. Okay, swap places. So 3 cubed, 2 cubed, 27/8. Okay, should be pretty straightforward here. Next one, you learned this one in grade 10, the fraction exponent. Right? So remember the denominator in the exponent will represent the index. The outside number is called the index, right? If you see a little 3, outside is called the cube root, right? And that will be the denominator in the exponent, okay? So please turn each one of them into radical form, and if possible, then evaluate, okay? If not, then you just leave it as it is. Okay, raise your hand if you finish all 4. Okay, if you tried it but not sure if it's right, okay, then you can also raise your hand, okay? So I know that everybody has tried it, okay? So we don't have to wait for 10 minutes. Okay, so let's look at question A. Iray, what do you have for question A?
Square root of 3.
Yep, okay, so this one, nothing much to do, right? So it's the denominator is 2, so that's a square root. And Donna, what about B?
Square root inside for exponent 3.
Yeah, okay, and then can we do something more after that?
Yeah.
Okay, what does it become?
8.
8. How'd you get 8?
Square root of 64.
Okay, yeah, very good. So you can find the answer of the inside and then take the square root. That's one way, right? You could also do the other way. Let's show the other way.
Bracket square root 4. Bracket power of 3.
Yeah, okay, so you can do the root first, which will make the number smaller, right? And then becomes 2 cubed. That will also give you 8. So either way, I will prefer the second way. Okay, second way, it makes the number smaller, easier to find. Okay, question C. Cindy, what do you have?
1/9.
1/9. Okay, so let's check 1/9. Okay, 1/9 will be 1 over cube root, right, of 27 square. I'm gonna do the cube root first. And then, which will give you 1/3 and then square, so that will be 9. Okay, last one is a D. Kelly, what do you have for D? A bit different from the other ones, right? Kelly, have you tried it?
I think I got it wrong.
It's okay. You can just share what you have.
I forgot how to do the negative for a second.
Okay, the negative, then you look at number 7, right? Did you get number 7, the 4 question in number 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the negative, it just move the whole thing to the other side. Then you can throw away the negative. So you think about the base, right? For each one, for example, like this question A, 2q, 2 to the -3, what's the base?
2.
2, right? So you just bring the 2 to the other side along with the exponent 3, but then you throw away the negative. That's how you deal with the negative. Okay, so over here, take a look. What's the base?
X.
X is 4 the base as well?
No.
No, because
the exponent only goes on the X.
yeah, okay. So when we draw the picture, when we write the fraction, which one goes to the bottom?
X.
Yeah, so X did what?
To 2. The second.
You just take the same exponent. Look at the question we had before, right? We bring the 2 to the other side, and then the same exponent, you carry it over, but except it doesn't have negative anymore. All right, so take a look. What's the exponent in the question?
1/2.
-1/2, right?
Yeah.
So when it goes down bottom, it becomes
1/2.
yeah, you just take away the negative sign, that's all, right? And what should be on the top then?
4.
Yeah, that's it, okay? And then since the X is not a number, right? The only thing you could still do is just put it into square root, and then you just leave it like that. Got it?
Okay.
Okay, so just it's a mix of fraction and also negative, kind of like question C, right? Negative, it brings the whole thing to the denominator, and then you apply the root, okay, to the number. Okay, so that's it for the review, right? So we're gonna apply these rules and then solve something called the exponential equations. So before we begin, right, let me give you some simple questions first. So for example, if I have, let's say 2 to the x plus 5 equals to, okay, maybe something easier. X plus 1 equals to 8. Okay, what will be the answer for this one? What's the x, right? Equation means you need to find the x. Tiana, what do you think?
3.
X equal to 3. And
Wait, no, 2. 2.
2, okay. How do you know it's 2 then? How do we check if it's right? How did you know it's 2?
You just put it in.
put the 2 in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
okay.
x.
Okay, so 2 plus 1 will be 3, so 2 cubed is 8, right? So if it's something more complicated, right? So let's think about how you can get the 2, right? Without guessing checking. You can think about the 8. What's 8 got to do with 2? Cindy?
Oh, 2 to the power of 3.
Yeah, so you could rewrite it, right, as 2 to the 3. So now the both sides, right, we want to make the left side equal to the right side. For both sides, now you have the base already the same, right? So now all you need to do is try to make the exponent the same. Then everything will equal each other, right? So you can say, right, if you want to show the work, then you can say x plus 1 has to be 3, right? So you can sort of ignore the base now, right? And then from there, you just solve it as usual, right? X equal to 2. Okay, so the method here that we use is called the same base. Okay, so you need to know which numbers are same base with other ones, right? So for example, like the first row that we had, everything here, the 3, the 9, the 27, they all have same base connected to 3, right? Recognize. So let's try this one. Okay, so we have base of 4 and 8. So what's the base connecting to both of them? Eric?
Is it 2?
Okay, so let's try that, right? So 4, I can write it as 2 to the what, Eric?
Squared to the
Okay.
2.
Yeah, 2 to the 2 is the 4, right? And then outside you have an x. Now what about the 8? How do I write 8 as base of 2?
2 cubed.
Yep, so I can write 2 cubed. Outside is 1/3 x plus 1. So this part, right, see the red underline, right? 4 is 2 squared, 8 is 2 cubed, okay? And then we'll simplify it using the law that we reviewed on the last page. Okay, so how do we simplify the left side now? Donna?
2 to the power of 2x.
Yeah, so we can use our law number, what? Number 3, right? Number 3 is power to power. You can multiply the exponents. Okay, and then how about the right-hand side? Cindy? How do we simplify the right side?
2 to the power of x plus 3. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so you would multiply the exponent, right? Even though it looks very complicated, right? But you still multiply them. Okay, just pretend there's a bracket. Okay, and once you have this form, okay, I want you to put it on the side. Once you get to the point where you have a base, right? One base on each side, and then one exponent. Then you can drop the base. Okay, drop the base. So remember, you can only have one base on each side. Okay, if you have two bases, you are not ready to drop it yet. Okay, so now the base are the same now, right? So you can ignore the 2. So you would have 2x equal to x plus 3. So you just focus on the exponent. Okay, so from here, you can solve for x. When you get the x, can you raise your hand? Any question, Eric? Kelly, have you got the x? Okay, Samantha, what's your answer? Samantha, what do you have? Can you hear me, Samantha? Okay, how about Eric? What's your answer?
I got 3.
You got 3, right? So this one should be an easy one, right? You just move it over, okay? And then if you want to check if your answer is right or wrong, okay. If you want to check if your answer is right or wrong, then you can sub it back into the questions, okay? And then, so for example, on the left side, you can write 4 cubed equal to 8, and then 1/3 times 3 plus 1, right? You sub in the x that you find, right? And then see if they equal each other. So the right-hand side, right, left-hand side is 4 cubed. What is the answer for 4 cubed? Tiana, what's 4 cubed?
64.
64, okay? And then the right-hand side, I would have 1/3 times 3 plus 1, right? For the exponent, the green part, okay? What's the green part simplifying to? You ready?
What?
What's
Four.
1/3 times 3 and then plus 1? What's that equal?
2.
Yeah, so that will simplify into a 2, right? So you can see they both equal each other, right? 64 will equal to 64. Okay, so you know your answer is correct. Okay, so in case that when you get an answer, because answer doesn't have to be an integer all the time. Sometimes you get a fraction, right? So if you are not sure whether your answer is right, you can sub it back in. Okay, so now let's take a look at something that has square roots. So when you see square root, right, then you go back to last page, think about which law has to do with the square root, okay? So same idea, you want to reach to a step so that you have one base on each side, okay? So I'll let you try this one by yourself. And the base must be the same, okay? Before you can drop the base. So raise your hand if you find the answer. So Donna, what's the base that we want to change to?
One,
What's
5.
the, yeah, okay, so the same base should be 5. Okay, so everyone else, please keep trying. Does anyone have questions? Please raise your hand if you finished, okay? Or if you get stuck, okay? Raise your hand too. Okay, Eric, what's your final answer?
X equals -1/2.
Negative half. Okay. How about Cindy? What do you have?
The same.
The same. Okay. Ire?
Same.
Same. Okay. So Kelly, can you tell me what's the exponent on the left side? What do we put inside the bracket?
Inside the bracket.
Yeah, in the exponent, right? We want to rewrite it. How do we write it?
X minus x minus 3/2.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me how you got that? What did you do?
I did bracket 5 to the 2x minus 3 bracket 1/2.
Oh, okay, okay. And then you multiply the exponents together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That also works. Very good. Okay, let me erase that. Okay, now how about the right-hand side? Donna, what's the exponent then?
-2.
-2. Yeah, okay. So once you get here, you can drop the base and just focus on the exponent, right? X minus 3/2 has to be -2, and that will give you the final answer. Okay, anyone has questions? Okay, so if not, the bottom 4 question will be yours, okay, to try. So, but before we begin, right, let's think about which one, what should be the same base that we want to change to. Okay, so for question A, what do you think the same base should be? Ire?
3.
Yeah, so it should be 3 to the something, 3 to the something, okay? And then what about B? Tiana?
3.
Also 3, right? So right now, pretty obvious now. Okay, and Eric, what about C?
2.
2, yeah. 2 to the something, 2 to the something. And Cindy, what about D?
2.
2, okay. Feels like it, right? The 1 is a bit fishy, right? We have 4 there, 2 there, so probably has to do with 2. Okay, just put a question mark there. Okay, so I'll let you guys try it. If you once you finish A and B, okay, raise your hand, right? So we'll check A and B first. Okay, does anyone have questions? Tiana, which question are you working on?
B.
Okay, almost there, almost done?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Right, if you have time, you can also move on to C, okay? You don't have to wait. So please raise your hand if you finish A and B.
Do we raise our hand if we're stuck?
Yeah, yeah. So I know we can go over. Okay, so let's check a few answers first, okay? All right, so Cindy, what do you have for A? Cindy?
Oh, I got 8/5.
8/5. Okay, how about B?
1.
1. Okay. Iray, what do you have for A and B?
1.6 and 1/6.
And 1/6. Well, 1.6, that's the same as 8/5, right? 1.6.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So far A is the same. Okay, what about Eric? What do you have for A and B?
For A, I got 8/5, and for B, I didn't get an answer.
Okay, that's okay. We'll go over it. Kelly, how about you?
I got the same as Cindy. I got 8/5 for
Mhm.
A and 1 for B.
1 for B. Okay. Donna, one more. A and B. Huh?
8/5 and 1.
And 1. Okay. So looks like more for 8/5 and 1. Okay. So let's go over it very quickly. Okay. See if we can find out what's wrong. So we already know for question A, it should be 3, right? So 3 to the 4 is 81. I'm just going to go over very quickly now, right? Since all of you have tried it. 1/27 should be 3 to the -3, right? So let me know if any step you don't know how I get it, okay? You stop me anytime. And then we can use the power to power. We can multiply the exponent now, right? So 4x minus 4. And then negative, be careful, you are multiplying a -3, right? So -6x plus 12. Drop the base. Then you focus on the exponent now, right? And move things around, isolate x. You can switch the terms to the other side. You get 10x equal to 16. And then you can divide by 10, right? So that will give you these answers, okay? They are all correct. Any questions so far? Okay, I think the most trouble is more complicated is part B, right? So question B, they all have base of 3, so we're gonna simplify it first. 9, I can write it as 3 squared, okay? Now for the exponent that's already outside, you could also do some simplifying first, right? Because that's also power to power. So that way it doesn't have 2 layers of brackets. So I'm gonna simplify the 3 and the 2x minus 3. So that will give us 6x minus 9, right? And then same with the second part, I could also simplify these two. That will give you 6x. Okay, and the same thing, 3 cubed, that's 27. And I'll simplify the exponent here. That'll be 4x minus 8. Other side will be 81 is 3 to the 4, right? Cube. Okay, So how do we simplify the left side now, right? Even though we get same base so far, right? Okay, we can still do a bit more, right? Power to power, so 3 to the 12 minus 18, 12x, and then 3 to the 6x, 3 to the 12x minus 24, right side 3 to the 12. Am I going too fast, or we are doing okay? Right, so I would like to know how you guys simplify the left side now, right? We have many bases on the left side, 3 of them. So you cannot drop the base yet. You got to simplify before you drop them off, right? Drop the base. So, Ray, how do you simplify the left side?
You add, then minus.
Okay, so if you add, what do you get on the top? Ray, still you?
Wait, I need to think.
Okay,
6x.
adding the top.
Oh, just the top.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I need to think. Wait, I need to get my calculator.
Okay.
18x
Okay.
minus 18.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think you need it. I know you can do without calculator. Okay, and then now we can do subtraction. Okay, Eric, how do we do the subtraction here?
Is it 18x minus 18 minus, and that minus 12x minus 24?
Yeah, and remember you are minusing the whole thing, right? So be careful when you do minusing. So let me know after you subtract them. Got it, Eric?
3 and 6x plus 6.
6x plus 6. Yeah, okay. So once you get here, you would have 6x. You can drop the base now, right? You have one base on left, one base on the right. So 6x plus 6 will equal to 12. Then that will give you x equal to 1. Okay, if you isolate x. So most of you got it correct. Okay, very good. Let's look at one that has the root now. Okay, so same thing, please try C and D. Once you got the answer, please raise your hand, or if you feel that you tried it, but then you get stuck, okay, doesn't know what to do, also raise your hand, okay? To simplify your work a little bit, right, my suggestion is to simplify the inside, right? Simplify the inside first, as far as you can, before you apply the fourth root, okay, with an exponent. That way you can avoid a lot of fractions, right? Because when you do add and subtract fraction, it's very easy to get a mistake, okay? Just simplify the inside and then apply the exponent for the root, okay? Anyone got stuck on question D? Okay, you can raise your hand if you tried it, okay, but couldn't get an answer. Or you could also try guess and checking, right? Because the numbers are not too big. Maybe you could somehow guess the answer for D. Do you guys need more time? Kelly, Samantha, Tiana, almost done? Okay, let's hear your answer, okay? Eric, what do you have for C?
I got negative 23 over 13.
Okay. Iray, how about you?
For B, I mean for C,
Yep,
the same.
the same, okay. And Cindy, how about D?
D.
Yeah,
1/2.
1/2, okay. Kelly, do you have answer for D?
I think it's wrong, but I got 3/4.
3/4, okay. Did you get answer for C as well?
Yeah, I got the same thing.
The same one, okay. So C, probably you guys are okay, right? So Tiana, are you almost done?
I finished C and D, but I'm still having trouble with C.
Okay. So what do you have for D?
For D, I have 1/2.
1/2. Okay, so let's go over both quickly. Okay. So first one, right? Question C, we know that it has to be base of 2. And like I said, I will suggest you to simplify the red circle part first. Okay, make it smaller first and apply the 4 through later. So let's do that, right? So 4 can be 2 squared. I'm gonna skip a little bit faster, okay? Square is going to multiply with a 3x minus 2. So that will give you 6x minus 4, okay? And then 8 will be 2 to the 3. So 3 will multiply 3x plus 3. right? And then fourth root will be like 1/4. So it's waiting outside, okay? Because I don't really like fractions. I'm just gonna leave it there for now. And then 16 will be 2 to the 4. Same thing, we can multiply with the exponent. So 4x plus 4. Okay? And then after that, the left side, I'm going to simplify the left, right? In the brackets. So they are dividing, so we need to subtract the exponents, okay? The green part. So it will be 2 to the 3x minus 7. And then 1/4 is still waiting. Okay, I cannot drop the base yet, right? You can only drop the base once you get to this form, right? A 2 to something, 2 to something. Okay, so we can simplify even more. Multiply the exponent, so that will give you 3x minus 7 over 4, 2 to the 4x plus 4. So once you get here, then we can drop the base. Okay, and then focus on the exponent. Okay, how do we solve this equation then? That's the problem, right? So Eric, how do we solve this equation?
Multiply both sides by 4.
Yeah, okay, so to get rid of the fraction as soon as possible, right? So you have 3x minus 7, right side 16x plus 16, right? Multiply both sides by 4. And then you can start isolating the x. Okay, I think this will end up as 20, what, or 13x equal to negative 23, and that will give you the final answer. Okay, so this one is fine. Okay, and just remember, if there's a root, right, you could do it later, right? Otherwise you have too many fractions if you share in too early. Okay, now for question D, I would like to know how you guys did it, right? What's the step that you took, or did you just guess and check? Cindy, how did you do it? How do you start?
Like, how did I do the first step?
Yeah. What did you do to get your answer? You said 1/2, right?
I like did 4 2x minus 1, and then I moved the 1 to the other side.
Okay, so the other side will become
1.
1. Okay, 2 minus 1. Okay, and then what do you do next then?
And then I changed the 1 to 4 to the power of 0.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay, 4 to the 0 will be 1, right?
Yeah.
And then?
And then 2x minus 1 equals 0, and you just solve for x.
Okay, so you drop the base now, right? So 2x minus 1 equal to 0, then that will solve, give you half. Okay, so half is correct. Very good. Okay, does anyone have questions? Okay, I think we can take a break now. Okay, after the break, we can start the graphing part. Okay, so let's have 15 minutes. Right now is let's start at 6:25. Okay, I'll see you guys soon.